Olukemi Olufunto, daughter of Adegoke, wife of Badenoch. She is currently the British opposition leader and leader of the Conservative Party since November 2024. Now she has broken the table completely concerning immigrants and immigration into the United Kingdom, and documentation of immigrants in UK is now going to be like a camel passing through the needle's eyes. Hear what she said.
4. We will increase the time before you can apply for a British passport from 12 months to 5 years, meaning it will take a minimum of 15 years to start an application. 5. If you enter this country illegally or outstay your visa, you will be banned from ever gaining leave to remain or a passport.
She said, Britain is our home, is not a hotel. I want to reduce immigration and make living here actually mean something. Therefore, I'm announcing that the Conservative Party is going to do the following things. Number 1, if you want to stay in our country permanently and apply for indefinite leave to remain, the time you have to live here before you apply will increase from 5 to 10 years. Number 2, you have to be a net contributor with a high enough salary, especially if you want to bring family members with you. And if you got a criminal record, you are banned. No, you don't have stand a chance. Number 3, if you have claimed benefits or need social housing, you can't even apply. Number 4, we will increase the time before you can apply for a British passport from 12 months. Listen to this. 12 months. From 12 months to 5 years. Meaning it's going to take minimum of 15 years for someone who wants to go through the whole process of permanent residency, not just permanent residency, of citizenship in the UK. I've just told you who this lady is. Listen to all the names. Olukemi Olufunto, daughter of Adegoke, wife of Badenoch. This lady, since the moment she got to that position in November 2024, she has been so controversial. She's just using Nigeria and the situation of Nigeria as, I don't know, people use things as stepping stone. She's using this one like taking us to the cleaners, as if, how will I put it now? She is talking down on Nigeria. She is, which word? I lack that word right now. She is stepping on Nigeria as if that she needs to trample on Nigeria for her to rise. This is a lady that was born in UK, January 2nd, 1980, in Wimbledon, London. Even she herself is an immigrant. She's a black lady. All the names are Yoruba names. I'm speaking to you, I'm Yoruba, so I'm not discriminating here. And I can confidently say, because I'm going to go into Yoruba proverbs that actually depicts exactly what this lady is doing. Though the policy of this party, they are not in power now, but when they get to power, that's what they are going to implement. This is part of their campaign strategies. This is part of the policies. These are part of the policies they are bringing as what should make the voters consider them when the election comes, in the next election cycle, or when the opportunity comes for a new government to be formed by a new party. If the current party, UK is they have a very different democratic system. This is a lady that the mother traveled from Nigeria to the UK to give birth to her at St. Teresa's Private Hospital. Before, in 1981, there was an act that was promulgated, British Nationality Act. And that was the act that abolished automatic birthright citizenship for those that were born in United Kingdom. But her mother was lucky to have had her because she was born in 1980. That act that cancelled automatic citizenship for people born in UK came into effect in 1981. Now, even she herself, she went through the process, she enjoyed the process, even though she's denying now that she's an anchor baby and that she did not know that she was eligible for British passport until she was a teenager. Now, this girl, she has been talking down on Nigeria. She says she comes from a poor home, poor family, but her father was a GP, a general practitioner. Which general practitioner in the 80s was a poor man? The father went later to start a publishing company in Nigeria, and the mother do poor men do publishing and do general practitioner? Do you see a poor doctor in those days? Even up to now, her mother Feyi, she was a professor of physiology in America and the University of Lagos, right? Now, she's also a cousin to Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. I know sometimes, this wealth and something runs in the family. She's a first cousin to former Vice President Osinbajo. This lady has been talking down on Nigeria. She is sounding as if she comes from a poor background and Nigeria is like the whatever shithole or whatever President Trump called Nigeria at that time. That's exactly, she's saying it in her own language. She spent her childhood living in Lagos, right? And in the United States. This is a young lady that's saying she's poor. Somebody that's poor living in the United States. The mother was a lecturer. There is no lecturer that, by at least US standard, that you say they are poor. They are brightly remunerated here. It's not like Nigeria where their take-home pay cannot take them home. Her mother lectured in Unilag. Her mother lectured in the United States. She said she had a very tough upbringing in Nigeria. Her family lived in, middle-class neighborhood of Surulere. Tell me, Surulere, she lived in Ajegunle. Everything she was saying since November, as if the suffering was more, and then she talked about security, about the police encounter. She went to a private school, International School of Lagos. But this lady, I don't know, maybe parenting gap happened to her. Because according to records, if you check Wikipedia, she returned to UK at the age of 16 to live with a friend of her mother's. Because according to them, because of the deteriorating political situation in Nigeria. And she brags as a first generation immigrant. This is the same immigrant. She's not Caucasian, she's not white. She's the one that is now putting a barrier, putting a roadblock, firewall. That's what the IT people will call it. And she also has a background in IT before she went in software engineering, before she went into law. Yoruba will say alasheju. That is overzealous. Someone that was invited to come and eat, and now he grips the hand of the householder. Someone invites you to dinner, and then maybe you are eating from the same plate, and then the visitor who was invited to come and eat now holds, the owner of the food to ransom. Exactly what she's doing. Omoju Orolari, there's someone who has not tasted wealth. She is more concerned, she's crying more than the bereaved. Notice me. Doing more than the owner itself. She's more Catholic right now than the Pope. She wants to be more, more Sultan than the Saudi Arabian. When you see a child who was not brought up in a home where they have enough, when you feed them with our native food, maybe swallow, that child will not know how to handle swallow. She will be dropping oil on her body. That's how you will know someone that comes from a poor background. That's what she's demonstrating. Is it her fault? Is it not because of the situation of our country? Whose fault is it? Is it not the fault of our leaders that messed up our nation, that messed up our economy, who sold us cheap to the rest of the world? The Holy Book says, train up your child so that in the way they will go when they are old, they will not depart from it. Train your child so that they can give you rest. When we tell you on this channel, I have some content where I tell parents, there's one I said that don't make children your retirement plan. For this one particular thing that happened, I see maybe it's partly due to her perception or attitude, might be partly due to failure of parenting. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm going to do some series this week because this lady is foundationally flawed. When you are told to train your children, it's not for yourself. It's not because you are going to grow old and die anyway and go away. It's actually so that she can be good for herself. She can be a benefit. And then she can be an asset to society, not a liability. This lady, we should have been like celebrating her, but she is a liability to the entire, her entire community. Of course, the policy is global. It's going to be for everyone that comes to Britain. But you know what? I don't know whether she's suffering inferiority complex, and all she thinks is the way for her to get to position is to convince her, followers and the white people by throwing the rest of us under the bus of her own people and other people. Why I'm saying her own people now and other people from other parts of the world. But Nigerians are very, very big on migration. When you are told to train your child, train them your culture, train them your language, listen to her name. All her names, including her last name, are Yoruba names. But a name doesn't make whatever they said, something name doesn't make a monk or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. That's because I'm on set now. Sometimes you cannot even coordinate. There's a mind freeze sometimes. Yes, they say the garment or cassock doesn't make a monk. Train them in your culture. Train them in your tradition. Train them with your language. Make them to be used to home. I know there's security issue in Nigeria right now. I don't know whether this lady, she's how old now? 45. January 2nd, she just turned 45 recently. She has been lost to diaspora. There are many people in diaspora who don't have anything to do with our country, but they stay on their lane. They are not using their own to disturb other people. They are not being a barrier instead of being a bridge. They are not being a constraint instead of being an enabler and facilitator. We say train them language, train them culture. That's why in those days, if the security of your area in Nigeria is good, let your children be going home at least once in a while, even though they may not have anything much to do with the country because you are living with them abroad. So that people will not be subjugating that which is our own. They will not actually be trivializing and second-classing who we are and what we are. We will not be trivializing, our own extraction, our own community, our own country, our language, our culture, our tradition. Now, you can see the result of this. You can see on our arms an ill-intentioned person. With due regards to our parent, I will not call her ill-trained because she's an adult, and we know that there are some difficult children. It's not easy to be a politician. But do you have to throw your own under the bus for you to get to position? Is that position a forever right? See what happened to Sunak. She can be here today and tomorrow they will remove her. Look at her progenitor, Margaret Thatcher, called Iron Lady those days. See how many times she spent. Look at how many years she used. Ultimately, she still had to leave the place. There is a proverb, an African proverb that says that the child that you do not build will sell the house that you built. So what are we going to call this one that Kemi is doing? An African proverb. I'm going to say a lot of proverbs here. But I will interpret that it is a bastard child that describes the father's house using the left hand. There are some cultures that left hand is like a disrespect. You have to do things with the right hand if you want to give them something. I don't know how many African cultures, but in some Nigerian cultures, if you want to give people something, you give them with the right hand. But the left hand, if you use it to describe your father's compound, there's an African part in Nigeria that it is assumed that person is a bastard. It's not part of the noble born children. Look at that. What this Kemi is doing, this Badenoch lady, is so that she can be voted for. Didn't Margaret Thatcher do more than that? Where is she today? She had the privilege of being born in the UK. She's taking that privilege from other people now. She has the privilege of returning to UK, and she was said to have found out somewhere along the line she was born in Britain, and then she came back and regularized her papers, and she's today who she is. She has gotten up, risen to the top of the ladder, and you know what she did? She just removed the ladder. There are other people climbing. She just removed the ladder from under the feet of every other person. Is UK not even tough enough to enter right now? Is UK not even tough enough to live in? Now she decided in her mind that she's going to she's going to break the table completely, and that's what she did. Normally people can turn the table around, then there's still table. Now she smashed the table, broke it into pieces, and dashed the pieces into the fire. She's not in that position yet. She's just opposition leader and leader of Conservative Party. The power has not really entered her hand. All the power she have now is within her party. Yes, opposition is powerful in UK because you have cabinet and shadow cabinet. They are contributing to the country, but she is not the be all say all. Now, what is she doing? She's playing to the gallery, right? And if she's not playing to the gallery, she must be very, very conceited. I wouldn't use the word mean. But I think in Nigeria, they call something notice me. Selling her own people cheap. Selling her own cheap. So that they can love her. She can win the affection of her party. She can win their vote. She can win their support. So that the electorates, the voters can vote for her during the next election. And that's why Nigeria has to be the sacrificial lamb. The rest of the world has to be the sacrificial lamb, knowing. See, I am not an advocate. I'm going to get to that point where I'll say it here, that definitely there's no country that will throw the doors of their country wide open for immigration. But is it not still strict enough already? She's now using the immigrants, let me use that word now, as the sacrificial lamb. If you hear everything that she's saying, is she not a hater? Is she not, being too extreme? Maybe she was trained at home and she didn't take it, because she appears to be, she's not just radical, she's just, might be a very difficult or cantankerous person. Being a strong leader doesn't mean you have to be a mean leader. Strength and meanness, there's a thin line between the two. You got to do what you got to do, but does it have to be extremities? She might be a spoiled child. Some other people will use the word brat. She might be something like that, so that, because when you see the tendencies of some people, they just, I don't care, IDK. Some of those, kind of raised children, especially for those, they call them alakowe, in Yoruba, that like the sophisticated elites. Some of them, there are some children that are not trained. Even the parents can't even correct them. In Nigeria, when we're growing up, our parents, some of them, they will be saying, those educated elites, their children tell them, Daddy, don't be silly. Mommy, don't be naughty. Maybe that's what we are seeing here. Right? That's where it starts from. Because some people don't have people to correct them for a balance when they're young. There's a proverb that says that if you want to tame an iroko tree, you tame it while it is yet budding, while it is yet young and growing. Once it grows up fully, you cannot even contain it again. You can't stop it. This is what I just want to say concerning these immigration policies. Immigration is not the only thing on the papers, but it's a very, very huge thing, because I think UK is good enough on what they were coming with. People over there will tell you that even the policy, the way it was, it's difficult for people to attain that particular threshold, to meet the criteria that is already set. But truly, no country will throw their doors wide open. But Britain's, though, as of today, is not that wide open. It is actually very strenuous for people to get their indefinite leave to stay, and even to get their paperwork and to become British citizens. Again, I'm not advocating for their doors to be open. And definitely, this is not Nigerian thing alone. It's not only Nigerians that will benefit. After all, what is the size of the UK? Take a look at it. The whole of the UK is not more than maybe Lagos and one, or maybe even, let me say Lagos, one big state in Nigeria, maybe like Oyo State or Niger State. They have a very small landmass. Right, even if it is bigger than Lagos or the smaller states, it's not as big as places like Borno or Niger or Ojo. It's not as big as the Southeast. Right, so it's a small landmass. Only that in the past, they have been a powerful nation. They are still a powerful nation. They still have global influence. They are power brokers. They're still part of the Security Council in the United Nations. And they are still part of the leading nations. That's why people are still going there. But since Brexit, UK, the Britain has not been the same again since Brexit. just that they have been strong, they have a very strong foundation. But it's not like the way it used to be before, truly. And they are probably the ones that colonized the most people on earth. How did they become a big nation which they are today? They took slaves from other places, and they used the labor of the slave labor, and they used the natural resources which they mined and extracted freely from all their colonies, and they used it to build that small country of a few people. They used it to build that the strong, small but mighty nation. And they have political influence all over the world up to date. And that's how they are powerful all over the world. And that's why their nation is a sight to behold. It's a signature. Of course, there are newer cities, there are newer, younger countries, but Britain is still Britain, no matter what. If not for the economy of Nigeria that, is upside down, if not, what are people looking for? There are many people that studied abroad. Look at our parents, they studied abroad and they came back home because Nigeria, some of those people didn't want to stay there. We had good economy, our currency was strong, and it has to take extra for our people to remain behind. The real people came back because the jobs were waiting for them, and Nigeria was conducive. And see what their generation, see what they did to our own generation. There is no place like home. They were returning to Nigeria. Now we are having to run to other places. Things are very tough in Nigeria, to be candid. I'm not being, okay. I'm not an advocate because that immigration, just migrating to other countries, is the solution. Yeah, we have to fix our country, but it shouldn't be someone who, she doesn't own Nigeria. Is that what people are going to say? She doesn't own Nigeria. She has Nigerian blood in her, pure Yoruba lady, father, mother. And you see, any stream or any river that forgets its source will dry up. It's a matter of time. This is not a prophecy, it's a prediction. Wait for it, right? She went to Lagos International School. If she wasn't instructed in that school, that in that country, where would she be today? She got the foundation, she became a software engineer, she became a lawyer, and foundation is everything. It's Nigeria that gave her the foundation the first 16 years of her life. Yeah, Nigeria is very tough now. People can hardly feed. Do you know how many people who have run abroad and take diaspora out of the Nigerian equation today? You know how much diaspora remittances were? There was a year 21,000, another year 20-something thousand. Last year it was 26 point something. If you might correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. As much as 26.5 billion. Do you know what that means? It may not be much, but when it was coming, it is helping the foreign exchange of the country, and it helped them to fix one or two things, right? And this particular people that are abroad, they are the ones supporting. The things are really tough. They are supporting families. They are supporting brothers, sisters. There is at least the money, the diaspora remittances. It has its own impact in the system because our economy is not producing, is not generating much. Which other sector is giving them that kind of money apart from oil export? Now, there is an African proverb that says, "Na person wey no person, na they do person." The person that knows you, who knows your weakness, and sometimes they use it against you. Is that not so? Is that not what we are seeing? Or what are we going to call what Kemi Badenoch is doing right now? We pray that God will heal our nation, and we pray that we'll get things right. So that we also, this is a call to duty. This is a call that we have to go and build our country. I hear people saying they're never going to return to Nigeria. I know you are really pissed off. You are really frustrated about the country. I mean, you don't feel secure, and you are just so traumatized by things some of us experienced before we left home. But that's not a reason for us to abandon our country. We have to go fix it. Can you see? Even people that think they are somewhere, they are not here, because anytime things can change. Would anybody be running away if our country was conducive to live in? If our country is conducive, we will not be running to other people's places. Ours is ours. You see, what Kemi Badenoch is doing, it's not the best, and that doesn't mean she'll get to that prime minister position that she's looking for. Because those people that are behind her today, they might, these people, they are very, very pragmatic. They can just, of course, someone was there before she got to that position. They are drumming the beats for her, that they are taking the king, the elephants, to make him king. But they only made a very big ditch and put a mat on the surface. It could be that they'll put a kind of artificial throne on it, and when the elephant is sitting on it, it's finding itself right in the dish. When she gets to the position, that doesn't mean they cannot even take her out of the place, because their political system is very volatile, and they are very, very pragmatic. You're not performing, they take you out. You make a wrong move, they show you the door. Right. Those people that are singing, crown him, make him king today, they might be the one that will say crucify her tomorrow. Make her king today might be the ones that will say crucify her tomorrow. She's still just she's, I don't know. Well, the end, we'll see what will happen at the end, because this is unfolding. This whole drama will not last forever. Someone that hears the loud noise of the storm and went to throw away the water that they have saved in their reservoir. What if it doesn't rain? People do say that a house that is peaceful, probably the strange child born, I don't want to call the real name there, has not grown up. Has the child of, the external child not grown up here in Kemi's case? Olukemi, Olufunto, Adegoke. Can you hear that? Full-blooded Yoruba girl. And she's the one doing this. Anyway, it's not for Nigerians alone. It will affect people from other parts of the world. This is my own take on it. I just feel that she didn't need to make it harder, because it's hard enough. And I just hope that people within that system, somehow they will survive this. Because, Britain, they don't stay with one party forever. It goes back and forth, just the wind can blow in the direction of the conservative anytime. But I pray anyone that is there, you are in already, I pray you're able to regularize your papers. And for people who want to travel, you can check on my channel. I say abroad is not automatic success. Go and check it very, very well. Plan well before you japa. So if you listen to that tape, go and look at that video. I'm not a proponent for people just picking their bags and traveling without the right documentation. You have to check the parameters on which visa are you traveling, what is your support system where you get to where you're going, what are your plans for regularizing your papers and for getting, getting documented within the system. So if you go watch that, it will balance this video. I'm just talking because it is Kemi. I believe that illegal immigration, or not even illegal immigration, if you are migrating for any reasons, and most of the migrants from Nigeria now, they are economic migrants, and everybody should sit down and count the cost and look, get, counsel, look at the information out there, make sure that you are not deceiving yourself. You get to the system where you're going over there in diaspora, and you don't want to get stranded. Okay, I pray everything will work together for your good. This is my take on Kemi. My focus is more on Kemi than the policy, because she was a beneficiary. That's my point. And that's my point. Thank you. I'll see you on the next one. Please like this video. Please share it. And please subscribe to this channel. Please subscribe. Yeah, please subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. It's just my take. If you ask Jimmy, you might have a different opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.